What's going on, guys? What is going on? I am Gino. This is my co-host Gray. We're with GG Rated. Thank you for stopping in for another week, another episode, another great show ahead of you right now. Josh, tell me what we got, man.
You remember when Tiger Woods and hit Daddy? I mean, today we're going to talk about some game and moment of the week. We're going to go into some news, and we're going to go into a special topic of being a Christian and a gamer. So stay tuned on this episode of the GGrated Podcast.
Hello, welcome to GG Rated. We hope you enjoy the show. Now here are the hosts.
All right, guys. Like you said, we had a really special episode, I think. It was kind of a hot topic the other night when I was working at AMC. I said, Josh, I had to call you. We kind of talked a little bit about it. And I think when we hit on the Christian and gaming, I know we're kind of going ahead here a little bit. You know, I feel like there's some kind of disconnect when it comes with gaming, right? As being in the way. We're going to discuss that way more into detail at the end of the episode, and I think it's a kind of a big thing, you know, that everybody talks about. So I feel like that's going to be a great topic, man, to talk about. I'm already ready. Can you tell I'm already like kind of like going into it, you know? But
yeah, dude, you're ready.
We've had some new hardware for PlayStation released, and me and Josh got to play some great stuff, some little bit of Black Ops 6. So you want to go into it, man?
Let's get right into it. Let's get into our gaming moment of the week. In this segment, we're going to talk about our favorite gaming moment from this past week. So let's get into it. Whoa. Who's going first? You or me? Me?
Ahead,
I'm going to go first? I'll go first. So we didn't record last week, so this is actually my game moment from this past week before. But it's a Black Ops 6 beta. The beta was out. I think I caught it the last few days that it was out. And I got to play with you. At first, I played it by myself. Did not enjoy it that much. But ended up playing it with you. Got into the groove of it. Really enjoyed it then.
This is definitely my gaming moment of the week, too. I'm just throwing it out there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the movement's cool. You can, like, basically run any direction. You can take people hostage, which is what I was trying to do the whole time. And I finally hotkeyed the hostage button to my mouse so that I was able to do it easier. And that worked really, really well. And after I played with you, I was playing with my homies from church, Trent and Gage. And we were having a great time. We were really going off on folks. And actually, Trent was supposed to send us a gaming moment of the week. Trent, do that, brother. You got to do that. He's got some gameplay and stuff, too, that he was going to share, which is actually a really great idea for when people send in their gaming moment. If they have gameplay, we'll play that on the show, too. That would be epic.
We will. We'll throw it up there.
Dude, we were playing, and there's a certain map where there's like a little platform in the middle, like a staircase, and it's a very, very small map. It kind of looks like a dining area or something.
I do remember that. It kind of goes out into does it go out into the pool? If I remember correctly?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah. That one's like hotel or something. This one is basically, it looks like a big dining area where you would have some sort of event, and there's two different sides to it that each have their own stage. And you can play in that area. But that was my gaming moment, was that specific area when I finally got my first hostage where I could use a human body shield. And I had this dude, and I was like, I did it! I finally did it! And it was so awesome. And just like that map specifically was perfect for jumping. You could jump off of the map or off of the stages. And there was... my other moment, actually, there's going to be two gaming moments from this game. My other moment was when I was playing with you, and you watched me dive off of a staircase and shoot a guy with a shotgun midair.
I forgot about that.
And I was like, dude, yes. Instantly, I was like, gaming moment of the week. It was so freaking cool.
So just to kind of harp on that, I got to talk about, he didn't talk enough about that moment. So we're doing actually pretty good. We're still losing, but Gray is just going off, and he's doing great. So I just get done killing a couple people, one person, and then I run off a little bit. But I turn around. As I turn around, there's two guys going up the staircase, and all I see is Gray diving off the staircase, and he's like got the gun out. And he go boom, like because you had the shotgun, right? You said, if I remember, he was trying out the shotgun this match, and I am not a shotgun guy, but I remember seeing Josh going over, and I turned, I was like, dude, that was awesome. He was like, wait, you seen that? I was like, yes, dude, that was awesome. I wish I was recording at that moment. That would have been an epic moment to throw up here, but he is not kidding when he says that was an epic moment for him, because that was pretty cool. Going into my gaming moment with it, man. This is obviously Black Ops 6 beta, right? That we was playing, and we haven't played really multiplayer since the old Call of Duty when we was grinding for Warzone. I think it was, right. We play here and there, but we didn't play multiplayer too much. And I think the fact my gaming moment of the week is just kind of going at it and just playing through the levels and stuff. And I ended up where he's at right now on this map that you're looking at right now. I was actually above, and there's this like right here on your left. If you jump up right there where the satellite is, I stood up there and I was just picking off people. And then they could not kill me because every time I would duck behind the sandbags, and I was just demolishing people. And I learned to do that after Josh was telling me you can climb up a ladder on the satellite dish or something. And I tried for like 10 minutes trying to get over there, and I kept dying. I was like, screw this. I'm just going to pick everybody else off that's going to the satellite dish. So I ended up getting like a ton of kill streaks, so much so that I ran out of ammo, had to kill a guy and grab his gun and continue to shoot. The game was a lot of fun. It's a typical Call of Duty game though, right? So that was my gaming moment of the week. Just having fun. This was one of my favorite maps. Seeing Josh actually dive off a staircase and shotgun somebody was pretty cool too. Haven't seen something like that in a while. I guess I'm excited to kind of play this game when it does come out, honestly. And guys, Verdansk is coming out first half of 2024. So it's coming back. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun to go explore that again.
Yeah.
So sweet.
But that would be our gaming moments of the week. Like Josh said, make sure that you leave it down below in the comments if you can, or send us an email, GGratedChannel at gmail.com. It will be listed in the description. We're going to go into the gaming deals and gaming news.
Yeah, let's go right into that there, eh? Gaming deals and news.
I like that thing more and more. That's the news stuff.
Makes you feel like a professional news anchor, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and bring up just real quick, and I'll let you end it with the deals. I'm going to bring this up real fast.
Let's do it.
It has to be about the. Let me see if it shows up right. There we go. So PlayStation this week announced a new console. I guess you could say new console. They released the PlayStation 5 Pro. We talked about that already. It's really expensive. It's going to be super expensive. But the good news with the PlayStation 5 console is they're releasing this special edition because it is the 30th anniversary bundle for it. So I'm trying to look up the website real fast, and I can show y'all the article in reference to it. There it is. This is what I wanted to show y'all. Yeah. So what they did is they went back to the original PlayStation colors. So they got the original gray and everything. They made a DualSense Edge, a PlayStation Portable for the PlayStation 5 Pro, and then the regular PlayStation. They have all digital editions. They're not using it for the, with the disc drive. But with the PlayStation 5 Pros, they're actually going a step further, and they're only making 12,500 to commemorate the date. I think it was 12/5 when it was released. Back in 1990. Do you know what year? Do you remember what year? I'll play that. Do you remember what year
the original PlayStation?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna guess. This is just a guess. 1997.
1997.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Let me see. Original PlayStation release date, and the answer is going to be December 3rd, 1994. But in North America, it was September 9th, 1995.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
It's so long ago, huh?
Dude, it's crazy. I thought it was later than that because
it's so long.
That's one that I played a lot of, but I forget that I was born in '87, so it makes sense.
We're old.
I didn't think I was that old. Yeah.
But the thing I like about this, man, is the colors. They really nailed the colors down on this thing. I think I'm actually going to have to. I'm honestly eyeing that PlayStation Portal, but I got the Steam Deck, so it's like, do I really want to do that? But that DualSense Edge, with the 2 buttons on the back, I'm wondering, instead of going to the Elite Series 2 again, is to go to the DualSense Edge and just go to 2 buttons instead of the 4 buttons on back. I just don't know how I feel about it. I do know that I kind of like the setup now with the new controllers more than the Xbox. Can you believe that?
Wow, yeah.
But
crazy.
Anyways, these editions, they're showing the specs, they're showing everything else in reference to it. Prices are normal, the same price. They're going to be a little bit more expensive for the bundle, but they are going to be released in October. So in October, be on the lookout for this. Like I said, there's only going to be 12,300 of the PlayStation Pro consoles. So it's going to be a limited edition. The problem is scalpers are going to really.
I was just about to say that. I wonder how many people are going to buy that who's not even a real person, just a bunch of bots trying to buy them up so they can scalp them later.
Exactly.
They really need to do something about that, to where you actually either have to have a PlayStation account, and that's the only way you can buy it, like something like Steam does, like when you buy through Steam, it's tied to your account. And, that might have been one way they kept people from buying them all up, so that it can actually get in people's hands.
Yeah. I agree. It's going to be released on November 21st, 2024. I think if they can get with Steam and maybe kind of figure that out before that date, that'd be great, like you're saying. But I mean, that release date's coming up pretty fast, November 21st, and I'm trying to find, but I do know it's October. I'm trying to find the exact date for y'all. What I'll do is I'll put it in the description on the exact pre-order date in the description to be on the lookout. You might want to get on there, go ahead and have your credit card filled out, go ahead and have your shipping address and all that stuff. So whenever they open it up on that October date, you're able to get in there and purchase it. Now, the good news is with the PlayStation 5 Pro, be advised, it's going to be better frame rates. It's going to be a more powerful console. It's going to be a 2 terabyte. But with that bundle, the bundle is what they're saying is probably going to be upwards to almost $1,000. So it's going to be.
Where does PlayStation VR fit into all this? Like, is it still a thing, or is that something they're like backing off of?
So the only thing with PlayStation VR that they ended up doing is nothing with the 30th edition, right? But they did lately do the dongle for $60. So now you can play the PlayStation VR without a PlayStation 5 console, and you can play it with a PC. Other than that, you still lose a lot of stuff, like the eye tracking and stuff. They say that is still solely for PlayStation 5 only, exclusivity. Right. But the rumor is, and these are all rumors, is that it should be coming to PC later on. But the VR that you mentioned, it's stalled it's stalled pretty good, and it's not doing too well. I think they really messed up by having it sole exclusivity on the PlayStation 5, and then even when you bring it over to PC, all the features are not coming over to PC. Right. So you might as well get a MetaQuest 3. You're not locked down by any cords or anything. Yeah. And you can hook it up to your PC as well. The MetaQuest 3 really did great with that, even though the PlayStation VR is technically a little bit more powerful of a VR system. But I know VR is your thing. I know you really like VR. I haven't really got into it. I wish
you would, dude. We'd have so much fun. One day,
I
one
think
day.
when they get to the point where they fix the frame rate issues, like they need a really good high frame rate. They have decent now, right?
Mhm.
But when they get really good 120 frames per second on VR and higher,
Mhm.
I think that's the sweet spot where people can start getting into it, because the lower the frame rate, the longer you play, the sicker you get. And
Mhm.
I feel like the higher the frame rates, it reduces that dramatically. And the eye tracking really helps too. That was a big deal with PlayStation VR. And not to go
Mhm.
into the PlayStation VR that we're talking about, but those kind of features need to be standard in VRs for people that do or prone to get sick with VR.
So you can crank it up. I'm trying to remember how far you can crank it up. So like when I connect, I have the MetaQuest 2, which is the older one, but it still works really, really
It's
great.
still a great one, yeah.
And when I connect it to PC using the Meta app, um, I'm able to adjust the frame rates and stuff of it. Like you're able to kind of, and as they come out with more and more software and stuff, you can still do things on it that you weren't able to do before to make it a better experience. And I'm just pulling up the app really quick so that I can tell you how far I'm able to pump it up. You can keep talking while I do that.
Yeah,
it's not pulling up.
Gotcha. I think it comes down to, with VR, like I said, if you get the frame rates up, and I know that you can boost the performance in a VR system if you connect it to a PC. It's just the point of, does somebody want to? The problem with VR, I think, is not even that. It's okay.
No.
I got to go get. You got to go get the VR system. You got to take it out. You got to plug it up. You got to put it on. You got to sit down. You got to have your own space for it most of the time. And I don't think people want to do that. Most of the casual gamers just want to get that controller like they do and go click and hear the PlayStation sound come on, and their wives coming at them being like, "Are you really playing games?" That's the casual gaming that everybody's used to. And I think it's a shift.
It's definitely a different experience. I think you have to be in the mood for it. Me especially, like I have to be in the mood for VR. There's times where I have an itch for it because I got it sitting right here, hanging up beside me. It's already charged. It's ready to go. And now with how they're doing technology, especially with Steam Link, all I have to do is fire it up. It automatically connects to my computer, and I just have to run Steam Link, and I'm done. Or I can just play inside the headset itself, and it's really
Josh,
easy.
It's like, think of it like the steering wheel. We love the race and have that fun, but we gotta have that itch of like, okay, getting out the steering wheel, hooking up the steering wheel, hooking up the shifter, and all this stuff, and getting that kind of stuff out and doing it. Once we do it, it's amazing. It's fun. Every time I put on VR, it's great. I actually, for my job, I actually became a VR facilitator that we do training in VR for gun simulation and taser simulations. And it's great. It's fun. It's interactive. We do it. We use VR now in our job, police officers, as far as for mental illness, to deal with to be aware of the mentally ill. And I just did that a few weeks ago, and it was great. It worked great. But I feel like for the mainstream, you got to start thinking on the mainstream. And I think Apple did a great job, but you know what they did wrong is the price. The price has to be there for the mainstream. Once the price and technology meet together a little bit more, I feel like it's going to be a lot more mainstream. And when you shrink it a little bit more, have it more maybe glasses style, I think that's when you're going to see VR really blow up and take over this console.
Yeah, the last big VR explosion, I think, was the Oculus 2. Because they brought down the price to where they were having to lose money on every headset. Because I forget how much it was for the entry level one. Was like what, $300 or something. It wasn't bad at all for the amount of technology you got. And then you had Mark Zuckerberg putting in billions of dollars trying to build up his Horizon worlds and stuff, and didn't exactly pan out. But I get what he was trying to do, but we reaped the benefits of it, honestly, because that was like the best time, in my opinion, to jump in and have an Oculus and be able to do all these things on PC and on the like headset
I agree.
itself. There's different apps that you can download to download games that folks have made, basically to where you can get third-party stuff. Like, there's so much you can do on it once you start.
I think the coolest thing, if I'm being honest, is how they have xCloud, Microsoft Game Pass on the Oculus Quest 3 now. So you can play AAA games on a huge screen, and on your couch. So you're still playing that casual gaming, but you have that huge screen in front. Or if you send at an airport or something, I think that is super cool that you can play Gears of War or Halo or something on just a 300-inch screen in front of you. With no issue. I think that's really cool.
It's lots of fun, man. I mean, I could go on all day about VR.
Yeah,
it's a great experience.
What kind of let's move on real quick. And what do you got any gaming deals for them before we move on to the main topic?
Dude, I actually have one gaming deal, which is
good news just keeps coming.
And he hits me with that. That's funny.
I do. What you got for us, man?
So the gaming deal I have right now, let me pull it up so that I can look at it along with you. If you want to bring up page 5 of the Steam gaming deals, and you can go, or you can pull it up on Steam itself. Titanfall 2 right now is on sale for $4.49. Titanfall 2. I'm not sure what the player base is like right now, but I know this game plays excellent on Steam Deck, which is usually what I'm looking for when I'm buying these games. Plays really good, as it's overwhelmingly positive because it's just a wonderful game. I wish they would make more of these. I wish instead of Call of Duty, they made a Titanfall every year, because I love Titanfall, dude. Even the first one is still really, really good in my opinion. There's nothing like it.
I know we mentioned it a good bit, Titanfall, but man, the story is just that good on Titanfall. I love the story the most.
Money. It's worth the money just to even have the story, even if there's nobody online playing anymore, for $4.49.
Yeah,
bro, the story's great,
guys. $4.49. If now is the time to get Titanfall 2 and just give the story a try. If you do, leave us a comment in the description and say, "Hey guys, we tried it out. It's amazing. I don't know why you waited that long." You know,
it's epic, man. There's nothing like it. I could literally play it right now. I love it. I just wish more of my friends played it, or like even had it downloaded on their hard drive so we can play together. You know.
Well, I know they shut down the servers on it.
So your brother-in-law Blaze had said something about they were doing like a DDoS attack or something on the game because they were mad at Activision.
Yeah.
Isn't it Activision? Who owns Titanfall?
It's Activision? It's Respawn
Entertainment. Is it? Are they owned by EA now?
Yes.
I forget.
Yes.
So it's So of course they would be mad at them because they kind of suck sometimes.
Because they're money hungry. That's why. EA is so money hungry.
They take games and they destroy them
with EA. And not to go into it kind of crazy, but
that AI game.
They go to the investors meeting, guys, and EA shows that AI you can type in, like on AI Copilot. Everybody knows what that is with Microsoft. You can type in, "Hey, make a map with nothing but boxes," and then it says, "Well, expand that map. Well, add 10 players. Add 10 players differently, like make them custom." Add guns and then grenades. Then add where you can only die by grenades. Then and then it's like, well, make it more epic. Like that's all you're typing in every time, and you're making it more and more. And nobody is cheering the entire time that he is saying this, because for the investors it's great, because the bottom 3 of game developers are going to be gone. They're not going to have a job after this. And yes, it's going to be more money in the investors' pocket, but they're still not going to it's not going to be cheaper games for us. because of the software. They're gonna it's not gonna help the consumer any. It's not gonna help jobs any. It's exactly what everybody's worry is. And I'm not trying to go into it too much. I understand that, but that's EA. Of course, EA would be the first one to show that off. Of course, EA, because they're so money hungry, man. They are.
Yeah.
So
yeesh. I wish more people would I wish games that came out, you could tell that more love was put into them instead of just this money grab. But honestly, there's so much to dig through as far as games, to where you don't know what the experience is going to be like if it's just a money grab or if it's an actual game that's got love and care into it. I believe the first Titanfall, because I think it was a bunch of people that came from the Call of Duty franchise and they kind of made their own studio.
Yep. They split off from Activision
and they made Respawn. And that first Titanfall was so special. It's the only reason why I got into the Xbox ecosystem. I was diehard PlayStation. And then when Titanfall came out, I went and bought me a used Xbox from GameStop and got Titanfall because all my friends at work were playing it. And dude, we played that game so much,
baby. Yeah, the first
the
one
mechs
was
were
great.
Awesome. So my buddy Scoey, he's got a projector screen in his movie room. And we used to play it on the big screen, and oh my god, it was so fun, dude!
That's cool.
Life-size Titan up in front of you, it was great. So many good memories with that. I have a picture on my Facebook of me sitting on my motorcycle because his movie room was made into his garage.
Wait, so you could sit on your motorcycle while you're playing?
I could sit on my motorcycle and play on the big screen. There was the couch there. He's got a little bar area. And
that's
all.
Epic.
It was really
fun. That's epic.
Yeah, so a lot of good memories there.
So you're building a house, so you're pretty much saying that you can do that, right? Because you're building a house right now.
Dude, so I'm going to have a loft, and I'm going to have a projector in there. I'm probably going to do a short throw projector, which is one you can put right by the wall. And just project up onto the wall at an angle. I'm going to do it upright.
So kind of going into that a little bit. I do have a projector that I have, and I do it all. I used to do it a lot more, but for my daughter's birthdays, when it gets colder and stuff, during Halloween, around Halloween time, we always bring it out there with the projector screen. And we'll watch some scary movies or something like a Ghostbusters or something like that outside with the fire going and have the movie playing and stuff.
Yes,
it's always cool. So
dude, it's great.
Yeah.
Back when we first started the podcast, back when we actually had a house, I had a shop and I had the projector mounted up in there on the ceiling. It was one that I had bought off of Amazon for maybe $60 or something. It wasn't great, but it was good enough to watch anime on to where it looked really good.
Yeah.
So literally I would play movies in there while we were doing the podcast, had it going on in the background. There's nothing like having a good projector on in the background while you're doing something else. It's fun. So
absolutely. Yeah. It's just something about a projector too, the way it is. But man, that's pretty awesome. Get Titanfall, guys. Titanfall 2, $5. I mean, skip lunch one day, buy the game. I don't know, but it's definitely, that's a heck of a deal. I do like that. That will be our gaming news and our gaming deals of the week. Now let's get into our main topic, which is Christianity and gaming. Can they go together?
What? The answer is no. If you game, you're going to hell, basically, is what it is. So, all right. Enjoy this episode.
Have a good one. No. So just kind of, I kind of want to give a little backstory of why we even bringing this up. No, it's not a go turn to God, please, which you need to. But it's not a come at you and preach at you podcast or anything like that. I think we had some good points. The reason it kind of got brought up is I was working a little extra job at AMC movie theater, and I was watching some of the movie during my breaks. And when this movie called The Forge, and I'm going to kind of put it on a little bit, maybe show the trailer a little bit and kind of play
He's
it.
going to fix it over me. This is the way he left it. Like everything else.
from the creators of Fireproof,
I'm giving you
War
1
Room,
month to find a
and
job,
whatever
or
else.
you can find one of your little friends that's gonna let you sleep on their couch for free.
Oh,
Can I help you? I'm just trying to talk to a young lady right here. I need for you to leave my shop right now. I'm gone. And I won't be back either.
That's something right there your father would do.
Well, I ain't him.
You acting like him.
ooh,
Boy.
mama. She's about to
It's
slap
hard
him.
for a woman to call out the man and her son. I just need some prayer support.
I'm just trying to see about a job, right? I ain't heard about nothing. What, you a salesman for this company?
I'm the president. That's for more.
Okay. So he's got a man who like finally believes in him.
Showing up.
He's being
He's
a good
still showing up.
type figure. Oh, and his dad
these
shows up.
promises.
Oh no.
Yeah.
When my sister tells me that she needs prayer support, honey, I bring prayer support.
Am I in the right place? Miss Clara.
Hey, isn't that's the grandma from War Room, dude? I love that movie. That was actually a pretty good
See
movie.
himself the way that the Lord sees him.
You're 50 minutes early.
Hey, try not to be late again.
I want to introduce you to a small group of men that mean the
And
world
that's the
to me.
Forge, the small group of men.
We eat together. It's one of the most important things I've ever done in my life.
God has forgiven me so much. Who was I to refuse to forgive?
Okay, Jesus, I give it to you.
Oh, it's about to make me cry, dude. Look
What do
Yeah.
you want people to think when they see you coming?
You only got 6 of us, 7 including Emmett.
I'm willing to go the second mile. We can't just walk out and do nothing. Let's roll.
If I may be blunt.
So not to keep playing, I know it's coming towards the end, but just to kind of go over it a little bit, okay? So as you see on the kind of trailer, I wanted to play a little bit so everybody can kind of see who we're talking about and everything. But the main
wait, just 1 second first. When they do these trailers, they played a whole movie in these trailers,
did.
dude. I mean, basically the whole what
That's
the good is
the
a
whole movie.
trailer? Why do I even need to watch the movie? They just played the whole thing right then. But anyways, go
it's
ahead.
it's the whole trailer. But anyways, this guy
Yeah.
that you've seen on the screen, okay? So I only came in I did not watch the whole movie, okay? I can't, I had a job to do. But you see a lot of these Christian movies, right? Everybody can agree there's a lot of these Christian movies about this sort of thing. And a lot of times it's not the best acting and all that, but it's about the message, right? So I called Josh because there was this scene when I walk in and this kid, I don't know his name or anything, but he's talking to that president that they're talking about, but he's actually a pastor, right? Is what it seems like. And he says, hey, I want to be a disciple, right? And he's like, well, there's a difference from wanting to go towards God in Jesus and to wanting to be a disciple for God and Jesus, right? For Jesus. If you want to be a disciple, a lot of times you have to give up something that you love and put Jesus at the top, right? So he's like, okay, he said, now he gave an example, and I think it's key what I'm saying here. Now, he gave an example of when he became a disciple, when he was younger, he used to love golf and he played 3 times a week, but then he changed to going to 3 times a year playing golf. And that was his sacrifice, is what he's saying. And he put Jesus as his priority. Well, it comes to a few scenes later, and he's in his room. This young kid is in his room, and he's like, get done reading the Bible. And my daughter is just laughing like crazy in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but not at this, but at something else. But so he's in his room, he's reading his Bible, he gets done reading his Bible, and he says, hey, Jesus, talk to me, tell me what I need to pretty much get rid of, right? And he's going around the room, and when you see the room and it scans around the room, you see nothing but basketball posters up, Air Force Ones in the closet. He has, you can see in the frame that I have, a locker with basketball, right? Has a ton of basketball stuff, but he pans to, guess what? The video games. And at this point, he's like, no, oh my goodness. And I hear the crowd. I don't see the crowd, but I can hear the crowd in AMC. They're kind of laughing about it, you know? And instantly, man, I'm just going to be honest. Instantly, it just completely, I wanted to walk out. Because here we go again with the dynamic of, I felt like at that moment, I was like, oh, they had to be like a 70-year-old guy or something that directed this movie to say, yet again, video games is condemning video games, right? You can't get closer to Jesus without video games. And I think the reason for that is why are you having to give that up? And this should be noted too. He packed up all the system and all the games, and he put it in a box to the pawn shop. And his mom walks in and sees it, and she starts celebrating that he gave up the game system. And then she goes in the room and sees the room's all cleaned up, and he has all these things from gaming and stuff in this box to give away. Like, he's giving it away. He's not putting it in a closet. He's giving it away. So he's being done with it. And I just felt like if you want to get closer to Jesus and closer to God and stuff, I don't feel like you have to get rid of something, first off. You know, you might have to for a little bit. Maybe if you put it in a closet, it would make more sense, right?
Yeah,
because he can come back to it. It would make a lot more sense. Kind of like the guy did. He went from, doing it a lot to doing it a little. He didn't get rid of it. He didn't say that he didn't play golf anymore. I think they messed up a pivotal part on that movie. And then the thing I have a real big issue with is the video game aspect of it. Why is it always, ever since the 1980s and 90s, even Congress and all had an issue saying that kids that play video games, they're going to become murderers and blah, blah, blah. They're going to start doing these hideous things. There's pros and there's cons to it. And I feel like, and this is my last minute and I'll let you take over. Mm-hmm. It's $1 billion thing. Video games are. And it's only building, and it's the only thing that can bring elderly, it can bring youth, it can bring people that are disabled. Any kind of person can all play together and brings everybody together. It doesn't matter about the age or anything. And I feel like it's doing it a disservice to say over and over again on these movies and these messages that if you got to give up video games to get closer to God and Jesus. And I feel like it's just not right.
No, I think that's well said, man. And I understand your perspective on it. And I was going to take a certain route with this, but I think I'm going to take a different route of anytime the church, meaning like us, we are part of the church, we're the body of Christ. Anytime the body of Christ decides to get out of a space and like, no, this is the world, so I'm going to get out of this space, when actually, like, everything is made through Jesus, and we need to be involved in everything so that we can bring his light upon the world. And you had this in the start, like you had a lot of Christian type institutions, stories, things like that were not involved in Hollywood at all. You didn't see people talking about their faith a lot in Hollywood. And when you did, it was like this like epic event that was always a really big deal. You're starting to see more and more Christian movies. You're starting to see that become like more of a thing. But I think a lot of times they are there to preach a message instead of give you a good story a lot of times, or like a good movie. They're all about the message, which in itself isn't a bad thing, but it should be about, if I'm going to make this art that's going to lead people to Jesus, it should really be a good story. And my main point was, anytime you take Christ out of areas, it's going to go to darkness. Not meaning that everybody's evil or whatever, but if you think that video games are such a bad influence, why don't you make some? Like, why don't you make some games with a really good story and a really good
influence?
Yeah, with a really good message. I mean, dude, I can talk about... And
there are, too. There are games.
Yeah, so I just played Neon White, and I beat it, and I went through that story, and basically... And it's not theologically sound. Like, it's not good theology. It doesn't line up all the way to Scripture, but the main principles of the story is about forgiveness and how important that is. And it was able to tell this beautiful story with a game that was really fun, a game style that I really love. And I ended up, so there's things that you do with, art, movies, whatever. You can see God involved in all of these things. And there's a saying that I like to go by is where you eat the meat and you spit out the bones. Being a grown person who knows how to discern things, you should be able to extract good things from these things that you consume, and if it doesn't line up to your values, then just spit that part out and just consume the parts that you enjoy about it. And that's what, like, dude, I just watched Deadpool and Wolverine and enjoyed that. And in the past, I would have been so wrapped up in religion that I would not have been able to watch that movie. I would have felt really like awful about it. And it's not something that I would watch like all the time every day. Yeah. But man, I think people take it to this religious extreme to where you're not able to enjoy anything and you're trying to live holier than thou and totally forfeit your soul. There's things that you can enjoy. I mean, there's hard things that even like happen in the Bible. They used to chop off heads and stuff, like, and that was just a part of like war, life, and all of that. And it doesn't mean that you're celebrating evil when you do these things. It just means you're living out. You're like literally playing a game to enjoy the aspect of playing a game. It doesn't mean that you want to go do those things.
Yeah, and touching on that, I feel like you talked about delivering a message on these movies, right? A lot of times they get more insightful in delivering a message, which is okay. I get what they're getting out of that. I feel like they don't look at the story aspect too much. You know, it's all about the message, because what I saw in this movie for the 30 minutes I watched it, right, is almost every paragraph or every other scene, you're reciting the Bible. Like you're reciting verses in the Bible. And let's be in reality, okay? And let's be realistic here. And nobody wants to say it, and I'll be the one to say it, okay? Is when you're talking to somebody, even if you're talking to another Christian, you're not sitting there talking to them and reciting verses every other paragraph. Yeah, man, the other day, it made me think about Hebrews 3:10. Like, you're not doing that. Now, I'm not saying that you don't think about some of that stuff sometimes, right? When you're talking to these other Christians. There's times when you and me's talking, we was camping and stuff like that, and we brought out the Bible and we started talking about this and talking about that. But we're never to the point of every other sentence doing that. And when a movie does that, it makes it not relatable to what is actually in reality, right? And then what does that do? That makes it where it's not relatable and it's not hitting, it's not giving you the feeling, it's not giving you the it's not doing what it's supposed to do, right? And that's supposed to bring people towards God, because it kind of goes back into the gaming too, right? I got a game pulled up right now. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, for all our audio listeners, and we talked about people, if they see it as a con, as a bad thing to be in video games, like you cannot be a Christian. Well, what can you do about it? Make games that are more in a positive light, right? Sure. And there's one right now that's called John Christian 3.0. And it's a Christian adventure game with spiritual battles. This battle presents the story of young John, who, dressed in the armor of God, embarks on his new mission to fight against the forces of evil in a universe with many challenges to free the imprisoned people. And he goes around lightning striking. It's an indie game. It's a very small game. Only has 17 reviews, right? But he decides he's using gaming in a positive light. Now, I will say this one last thing, and I have this playing in the background so you can kind of see the trailer to it. And but like my church that I go to, they do a great job with the gaming, with the I don't know about the gaming aspect too much, but social media. And I kind of feel like social media kind of gets a bad light as well, right, when it comes to it. But they do a great job of using social media to their advantage to notify people to come to church. They probably got a lot of people that's able to come to church and able to learn about God and Jesus and stuff because of social media, right? And I feel like you can use the social media aspect just like you can the video game aspect. You can bring people together with video games, just like you can with the social media. And I feel like it's a shame, Josh. And the whole reason I bring this up is we have to get out of the mentality that video games are evil, that you should get rid of them completely. And how about using it in a good light instead of a bad light?
Yeah, and I wish in that movie especially that they would have went into more detail about your personal relationship with God. Now, so granted, there might be some people that video games is a huge hindrance to them, and they maybe need to take a break, do whatever. I mean, there's times in my life where I believe the Lord was leading me to step away from things so that I could be more involved in other things. But it seems like in that movie, they did it because it was low hanging fruit, because most religious people think that it's bad, that you don't need to play that. And I just don't think that's accurate to what the actual truth is of the subject. You know,
you go to anybody and you say you play video games, you can tell by the look on their face, like, you video games, like,
it's because they don't understand it.
They don't understand it, absolutely. And you know, I think when it comes down what you was talking about, I want to kind of hit on that. You're saying that sometimes it can be a problem, right? That they are playing it too much, and it can be a problem. We have to limit our kids. We do it all the time.
I have to do the same thing with my son.
But that's when it turns into a parenting issue as well. Right? You can't leave out the parenting issue with this stuff and solely believe it's all about evil and you can't get closer to God. Like I said, when I'm talking, and I know I'm kind of hitting on The Forge, and it was a great movie. It even got us to our feels when we watched the whole movie on the trailer, right? But I'm not saying the rest of the movie is not great. I'm just talking about that right there lost me.
Yeah, that particular aspect.
Yes, because if he put it in the closet and put it away, I think that would make a little bit more sense of like, hey, I'm going to come back to that whenever I got my priorities right. And you can still enjoy that. Why are you wanting to take something that you enjoy away? Now, I'm not talking on the same thing as like drugs and stuff like that. That's a whole nother thing that we're not going to get into at this moment. But when you got something that you enjoy, that's okay to do.
It's a firm belief that I have because, man, I went through a really hard time early on when I rededicated to God, to where I thought if I loved anything that was part of my old life, and I need to get that out of my life so that God can give me what I really enjoy. And my view on that was so skewed because in the Bible it talks about crucifying your flesh, so that basically you obey God and what his will for your life is. But I think a lot of times when people try to crucify their flesh, meaning, you know, they're trying to build up resilience so that they can do the things they know that they're supposed to do, when in fact, you know, God should be the one to change you from the inside out. It's not by your own might, but it's by his alone. What Christ did on the cross gives you
and what Christ, you the power.
What Christ did on the cross gives you the power to overcome sin, because when he died on the cross, he died as you, as well as for you.
And let's be honest, and let me just say this just real quick. I don't mean to cut you off. Hold your thought, okay? But we're not perfect. And I'm not saying I am. And I'm not saying this is the way and that's not the way. No. I'm giving my opinion, and I'm a sinner just like you are and everything. I just hate how people, I know I keep throwing the video game aspect into it, and I'll let you finish what you have to say, but we have to get away from distancing people is what I'm more upset about, of the divide, and using the tools that you have.
Sure.
If you want to bring them closer. But
because the Bible says, I am crucified with Christ, yet not I, but like he lives through me. So it's like the power that we get from him is what we have to overcome sin. And I think a lot of times when we try to crucify our flesh, we're actually crucifying our soul. And our soul is like our mind, will, and emotions, among other things, you know, that could be part of our heart. And our heart, man, like God says he says to guard your heart. because that is the wellspring of life. So I don't want to get too far, in the weeds with all that. But what I'm saying is, when we try to get rid of things we love because we think it'll please God, I think a lot of times we are crucifying our own soul, and that's actually not a good thing. I think that, so God is the one that restores our souls day by day. Our spirits are born again. Our spirits are just like Jesus, and every day he's restoring and rebuilding our souls day by day. And the things that we love, we are free to love, and we're free to bring him along to correct our path in that thing any way that he sees fit. But it's by us obeying in relationship. It's not by us getting rid of everything we love and destroying ourselves in the process. That's what I did in the past. I sold my motorcycle. I stopped doing things because I thought it would please God, and that's just not true.
And I think it comes down to all the naysayers out there that are sitting here, if they're listening to this and they're sitting here and they're like, "Oh no, you're wrong. There's nothing but just blood and just gore, and it's terrible games and blah, blah, blah. You don't want your kids watching it and stuff." That's not every game. There's a lot of times that these video games are used for people to help themselves cope and kind of time themselves out and, make themselves, their well-beings better, which in turn makes them a better father, a better friend, a better everything for their families, I feel like. And they're not looking at that aspect. They're just looking about what's being produced. But if this person zones out and wants to be a hero shooter and run around or build stuff on Minecraft or something, this kid, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not taken away from Jesus and all. It could be making them a better person to maybe get less stress on themselves and actually learn more and become closer. So again, not to go into preaching and sounding like, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a pastor or anything, but the aspect I wanted to bring up and I was really struck by is having to give up something. That's the main topic, guys. Having to give up something that you love is the only way you can get closer to Christ. And I feel like the message should have been, if you have to give it up, if you feel like it's getting in the way, you need to prioritize it, but you do not have to give it up. And that's how I feel. Yeah. That's how I feel that gaming.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Because there's look, there was people there watching a 2-hour movie. I mean, you could go play a game for 2 hours and get a lot out of that. I think they pinpoint all these things when I believe that it's a case by case basis and it's a hard issue between you and God. And just because one person thinks it's bad doesn't mean it's bad for everybody.
Yeah, and so I have these people, and I noticed all of them are 50 and above that are in this movie, right? And you see this parent in this movie walk in and see the PlayStation stuff in the box and celebrating, dancing, getting excited and stuff like that, right? And because she sees the game systems up, and so she sees the game system as being the problem. Like, oh, he's going to be a new person because the game system's put up. But you saw the way he acted and how he was just in the trailer towards the girl, how he presented himself, how he talked, like all that kind of stuff kind of matters, I feel like. And not just the video game system is like not the change on somebody. And I'm not saying that that's not the case for him, but I'm just tired of it being presented that way. It's like you're beating a dead horse in these movies and these sayings. We have to get away from the video game being the bad guy and start looking at what really is the thing keeping somebody. Like, Gray, I'm going to kind of mention this. You mentioned this earlier. You mentioned Hollywood, movies in general, right? And do you not feel like Hollywood, when you look at some music and stuff like that, when they dress in devil costumes at VMA on Oscars or whatever like that, people is in a huge uproar. The Paris Olympics,
it's just blatant. Yeah, and it's like that totally turns me off to a lot of that stuff.
But you don't see that too much, the backlash on that. But then you constantly see the video game being presented as being, it's just, I feel like it's a two-faced hypocritical thing. And I feel like Christians need to look at that and say, okay, let's turn the page here. You know, we have guys our age that's been playing since we've been little, video games and all, that my wife jokes about this. She's like, oh, we're going to see you and Josh playing video games at 80 years old. We've never seen that before. I said, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
we might enjoy
There's
it.
that
Maybe
guy.
not.
There's
It's
that
not
guy
an
on
age limit.
YouTube or TikTok. He's like used to be a sniper and he snipes in video games. Have you seen that guy? He's like old. He's got to be 80, and he snipes in like Battlefield and stuff, and just murking fools. And he's laughing
Like he's in World War II, son.
Yeah, dude, he's loving it, and it is awesome. It's really fun to see. I forget that guy's name, but
we got to check him out.
yeah.
I got to see that.
Oh yeah, it's really fun.
But have you thought about that? I mean, we're going to be the first generation that's played games our whole life. We might be 80 years old playing games, but we're really going to sit here when we get a certain age and be like, I've had friends that said this now. I'm not just saying throwing it out. I've had my own friends say, I don't play that. It's a waste of time. I don't play them anymore. That's okay.
Sure.
But are we going to say there's an age like, oh, I'm 38 now. I can't play video games. Deep down, they all want to play a game. They enjoyed it. I've seen them enjoy it. We enjoyed it together. But now because you're this age, you can't enjoy it anymore. It's the same thing happening with Christians. It's like you go in this church and then you have somebody that's older and they look at it and they say, you can't enjoy this, which is God or Jesus, because you enjoy video games. Hey, get out of here, man. Get out of here. It's not me.
No, it's really like when things get religious is when I start to check out, because our faith is not based on religion. It's based on relationship. That's a huge difference. It's a personal relationship, which means what might be sin for one person might not be for another. Now, there's certain things that, there's like if you commit adultery, that is sin for everybody. It doesn't mean like that is like definitely a thing. But it's, it's like, yeah. But it's like, let's say I have an issue with video games to the point where I put that ahead of God. I start to worship these games. I idolize them. Like, this is my new God. It's an issue for me then. It's a sin. Yeah. I'm starting to walk into sin. That's not happening. No. Like, God's here along with me while I'm doing these things. He's in relationship with me. I'm having fun, and it's great to spend time with him doing stuff. Like, you can bring him along with everything that you do, and if there's something in there, it's like, so here's an example. When we were playing that mech game, and was it Mecha Break?
Mecha Break, yeah.
And you had the ladies with the butts on there, like it was blatantly in your face. Like he was like, "Do you think this is the best thing for you to be looking at over and over and over again?" I was like, this is not. I really like the way this looks, but you know what? Like that's going to start to interfere with, my relationship with my wife when I start to,
you're going to see
on that slippery slope of a track.
Like,
it's like, I probably don't need to be looking at this. So in the future, I would try to correct, and I'd be like, maybe I choose the guy character, and hopefully it doesn't show his butt the whole time. Like there's certain things where, to make sure that your relationship with Holy Spirit is good and you're walking on this path of righteousness, which he guides you into gently and lovingly. He is not. It's the love of God that leads people. It's the love of God that leads people to repentance. It's not by like harsh correction. Not saying that correction doesn't come, but it's in love, man.
So
it's
the correction I give is, I'm more of a sports guy, and the example I always give, and I think I gave it to you on the phone, is you have a coach and they constantly run up the middle every single time, and you're not getting any yards, and you just keep doing it, and you just keep doing it, and you just keep doing it. Nothing's going to change until you make that change. Until he says, okay, running up the middle is not going to work. This is a different kind of team. It might work against this team. Like, say you play that, I'll give an example, a 50, 60, 70-year-old, it might work. That message might work. But you take somebody like us and like billions of other gamers in the world. Hear that word, guys. And anybody that's out there not agreeing with this, a billion other gamers in the world. And you try to bring that message, it's running up the middle over and over and over. Try a different approach. That's all I'm asking. Try a different approach. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think below.
Yeah, here's two things I'm going to leave folks with. There's a difference between conviction and condemnation. If you feel convicted over something you're doing, which leads you to, choose a different path, conviction is good. You're being convicted by the Lord. It hurts, but it hurts in a good way, if that makes any sense. It's like, oh, I really want to do this thing, but God doesn't want me to. I'm convicted about it. But it's in a way that if you choose to go through the pain of changing your ways, you're going to be better off for it. Because God says you're no longer a sinner. You are now a saint because you have Jesus now. So that's who you really are. You might not be acting that way, but that's who you really are. And I'm going to guide you into walking this out. Now, condemnation is different. That comes from the enemy. That comes from the devil. He's going to say, you're stupid, you're bad, you're evil. I can't believe you're doing this. That he's condemning you when condemnation holds no place for you because you've been redeemed through Jesus. Follow conviction. Conviction doesn't mean you need to get rid of things you love. It just means you need to work on your relationship with God so that he can guide you into all things in a healthy way. That's what I will leave people with.
I like it. Remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
That's right. Yeah, baby. Let's
go. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I really hope you did. Like I said, it was a huge topic. I want to get that off. I hope you like the gaming deals that we had, the gaming news of the new PlayStation 5 Pro that's coming out with the 30th anniversary bundle. Guys, it's all going to be great. Greg, you want to sign us off here, man? Tell them where they can find us, and we'll see them on the next episode, I guess.
I'm going to close this episode in prayer. Everybody bow their heads with it. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching the GGrated Podcast. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcast, all that stuff. Check us out there, or you can email us at ggratedchannel@gmail.com. Please, for the love of God and everything that's holy, send us your gaming moments of the week so we can read them on the show. We know there's at least 20 people that watch us every week. So if like just one of you could do that. Yeah, it's building. So come check us out on the next episode of the GGrated Podcast. We love you all. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Peace.